Warning, MF Uncensored contains adult language and discussion. Listener discretion is advised.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. We're not Duffy and Dilly. Don't go around willy-nilly.
Hello, everybody. We are here in the Misfit Faction Network studios, and this is MF Uncensored. If you're listening to us on the go, you can catch us on our home network, Podbean. You can catch us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere else you can get your podcasts. As always, well, not really, because I'm really not on this show that often, but I am one of your hosts. My name is Sean, and it is great to be here, and I'm here with, the other two members of the Misfit Faction Network, and that is Paul and Ronnie. First of all, Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Why are you laughing? You have no faith in me.
No, it's not that. So for those of you guys who can't see us, because if you can, that's weird. Ronnie's flexing as you mentioned his name. He's puffing up. Like, it's really strange. Okay, buddy. Yeah.
Is that a problem?
This is why we don't do video.
I'm not puffing up. This is just how I naturally am.
Fat.
Yep.
Aw. Womp, womp, womp.
On that note, Ronnie.
I'm fluffing up.
Well, Paul didn't really say how you're doing. How are you doing?
Doing all right, man. Thanks for asking.
And Ronnie, how are you doing?
I'm quite fluffy.
There we go. Fluffy as always.
I'll tell you after therapy.
Oh, God. It's going to be one of those episodes, but I love those kinds of episodes.
They all
So,
do.
if anybody caught our last episode, we had a lively discussion on the 90s cartoon classics that we grew up with. So we felt, we're going to sort of stay in that vein with the retro feel, and we're going to talk about game shows. We thought we were only going to do the Nickelodeon game shows, but I think we've decided we're gonna go and we're gonna do the whole concept of the game show. And I guess the one way to start is, first of all, let's start with everybody's favorite game show. And this is a tough one, and I'm putting everybody on the spot like this. So.
Legends of the Hidden Temple. I'll say it.
There you go.
I'll be the first one. Legends of the Hidden Temple. The original, not the stupid freaking CW remake. That was the worst thing. I'm going to stop before I'm going to get too fired up.
That was
I'm going
good.
to get so mad.
That was good.
Oh.
I like it. I like the passion.
See, for me, if I'm talking about like the Nickelodeon, for kids kind of stuff, it's Guts.
Do you have it?
All the time.
Do you have it?
But if I'm talking about just pure nostalgia, it was The Price is Right. Because I remember watching that with my grandmother, all the time.
Every day,
or whatever.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
11 a.m. is watching that. It would be, we'd watch Matlock, and then it would be The Price is Right.
He just hit me. You hit me in the feels, Ronnie. You just hit me.
Well, I would actually say that it is every 90s kid's rite of passage. If you were a kid who was born in the 90s, it was a rite of passage to have a sick day and watch The Price is Right.
Yes.
That's fair.
And
or on a holiday when you were off from school or anything like that.
Because there was nothing on.
Yeah.
That's true. We were in the generation of, I want to say, I guess talk shows were still are.
Yeah.
Even more so. But I think talk shows were starting to really take off at that time, and every hour of the hour on network television. But definitely Price is Right is still on. I mean, Drew Carey, you got to give the man credit. He's taking that show and he's continued it for the last decade.
Yeah.
And I think Let's Make a Deal is also on now with Wayne Brady.
With Wayne Brady,
has been on for years. So, I don't think the game show is back in terms of where it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But
no.
What are you going to do? But for me, growing up, I got to go probably. I loved Legends of the Hidden Temple. I did too. I loved Legends of the Hidden Temple. I just thought it was so inventive and just so perfect for its audience. I mean, obviously,
there was no better show for the kid to get for us as an audience to get angry at the kids participating.
Yeah,
that's true.
The monkey goes that way, guys.
Yeah,
I still get so mad watching because you can watch all these shows.
See, I think that's why I liked Guts better. Was because growing up I was athletic, playing sports. So I was like, I want to do that because I play sports. I could do that. While Legends of the Hidden Temple, it's
except for the first task at the beginning of each episode, you really had to kind of have some ability.
Yeah.
But after that, you really didn't need to be athletic. In any way.
And then
you had to be smart.
Just the silver monkey just got me angry all the time.
Oh man.
I'm like, how do you not know that the head goes on the top, not in the middle or on the bottom?
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of anxiety and stress. I get it. But when you can't figure out that the monkey's ass goes on the bottom of the monkey.
That's the thing I don't get. Okay, I guess maybe mixing up the bottom and the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you put the bottom on the top or the top on the bottom. It's like,
you would think a lot of these shows, you would think that the people on it never watched it.
Yeah.
Well, you also gotta remember that they filmed like
Months in advance.
5
Like a whole
episodes
season, yeah.
in one day.
Yeah.
So I mean, now the show was on for I think 2-3 years,
Something
and probably
like that,
did like
yeah.
over 100 episodes. So near the end, I agree with you. If by that time people still couldn't figure out the freaking monkey, they're idiots.
Yeah, right.
But early on, I
Yeah.
mean, we say it, but who knows if we were in that situation, would we have done the same thing?
If they ever so they tried to revitalize it for the CW, and it was atrocious
Because it was adults.
It was I like the idea of adults doing it, but only if they had done the original actual concept.
Yeah.
Like they made it into like an awkward, like after each obstacle or during it, they would cut to the team.
Yeah.
And they'd be doing like an interview type thing. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
They like tried to combine the original with like an Amazing Race kind of thing.
Just rough.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just such a hater of when they remake stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we're not going to get into the discussion of remakes and all that, but sometimes they're good, sometimes they're just god awful.
How terrifying were the Temple Guards, though?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure some of them were a little too aggressive.
Yeah, right.
There was always the rooms that you knew that they were in. Sometimes you'd even see them like hiding in the corner, which was always funny. But it was the one with the tree,
The forest.
The forest.
the Forbidden Forest. No, that's Harry Potter.
Well, sometimes they weren't in the Forbidden Forest was always the one where I would be like, don't go in there.
Because you could also plow through the wall. You didn't need the key.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then obviously once you found the item, the temple guards disappeared. Like, they would not attack you. You had a free run all the way back to the entrance, but you had to get to the item.
Yeah, the best was then like the second kid would go in and go a completely opposite direction. I'm like, no, they opened the path for you.
Yeah, right.
It's clear.
It's like just.
Did you not watch?
You would have won if you just went the same way, but no, you had to go through all the other rooms.
I just wish I could have been there to see the setup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like just the setup of that whole obstacle course basically is what it was, and just because to me that was just awesome. I mean,
so cool.
just feeling like you were there. I mean, even in the opening of the show, it's like you feel like you're in a rainforest somewhere, some ancient Mayan ruins. And who doesn't love Olmec?
Oh yeah. It makes me wonder, like when they're filming, because we see the finished product. We don't see the things that happen, like the production side. I'm wondering if, like, while they were filming, if the actual Olmec puppet was like, doing all the talking and like how they were able to hear it, like did they?
I bet you 10-1 that they just had a voiceover, and unless the camera was capturing
both
Olmec and the kids in the same shot, they probably didn't work the puppet as much because. We don't know, but that I think consensus is that was a beloved show by a lot of kids, and Guts too.
It made me
I think all the kids' game shows on Nickelodeon were loved. I don't think there's one that you could say was just not that good.
Made me want to go to Space Camp. That was always the grand prize. Space Camp. I don't think they do Space Camp anymore, which is very sad. But like, you watch some of those old episodes, and like some of the prizes are just wild. Like a VCR.
Oh yeah, it's so dated. You love it. But do we have any other favorite? We'll start with the Nickelodeon and go through that, and then we'll touch on the other game shows that we grew up with. So Guts obviously is probably the number 2, as Ronnie was talking about. That show for me, I love to watch it, but if I was able to participate, I would. But I knew I would suck at it.
Yeah. I just wanted to climb the
Aggro
Crag.
Yeah.
Well,
what
apparently
Aggro Crag.
Now, apparently, those kids were not actually allowed to take home those giant trophy pieces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got like some sort of smaller, like miniature version of it, or like a smaller piece of it. But that was one of the coolest trophies in existence.
Oh, absolutely.
Like one of the best things.
I always loved the bungee obstacle, the bungee sports where you would be on the bungee and you would shoot the basketball or do all that. And again, I don't know how many, when Nickelodeon Studios was back at Universal, I don't know how many stages they had. And who knows? They could have filmed all the episodes for the season of Legends and then killed the set, and then they built the Guts set. But when we were kids, and Legend of the Ten Temples on at 11, and then 11:30 is Guts, you're like, oh wow, they moved all that and just built the Guts.
Right?
It's awesome. It's
and the
great.
thing I liked about Guts too was it was never always the same.
No,
like Aggro Crag,
yeah,
but like all the other like games and stuff always changed.
They changed it up. You're right.
Like while with like Legends of the Hidden Temple, it was pretty much always the same.
And and the great thing about Guts was when it started, obviously it was strictly kids from the U.S. and then they came out with Global Guts.
Yep.
And I mean, I'll be honest, that was the first time I really was introduced to foreign countries.
Yeah.
Like they'd have the flag next to their name. They'd interview them, so you'd hear the accents.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, for us, I thought that was because we didn't start learning languages until we were in middle school.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a little introduction to that. I think this one's a little early for us, but it was on near the beginning of the 90s. But Nick Arcade.
I remember Nick Arcade.
Nick Arcade was on. It wasn't on with the other ones. It was on early in the morning, as I remember.
Yeah, like
But,
5 to 6 a.m. or something.
Oh, yeah.
That show is so dated, but it's so just so fun to watch.
I think they could revitalize a show like that. Obviously, it's weird because video games are very different now. But it was for those of you guys who don't remember, Nick Arcade basically it was an arcade type setup, and you could play different games to win prizes. And it was 2 teams. They each had 2 members, and they would go. Usually, it was like a head-to-head type thing, or they had the little game board that they move Mikey around the character.
That's right. Yeah.
And you would get a video game challenge, or you get a trivia question. And the video game challenges were always hilarious because they were games we were playing. Like there was like, all right, do like 2 minutes of Paperboy, and you have to get like a certain amount of points.
I think they had like Addams Family. Like if there was a big movie game that came out,
they had a lot of games.
And then obviously the big thing at the end was when the winning team would go into the video game, which in the early 90s is like, oh my God,
blew our minds.
Do that.
Blew our minds.
And now you look at it, you're just like, they're just standing in front of a wall. Like,
right?
Jumping, and it's just...
My Xbox can do that now.
Yeah, right?
It's crazy. Like, that's the thing about these game shows. When you do any game show that's based on technology, it's going to be super dated, no matter what.
Absolutely.
But a game like Guts or Legends, like you can watch those now, and really the only thing dated is the fashion and the prizes.
Yeah,
pretty much, which is still fun to watch. I mean, like and most of these game shows are on streaming on Paramount Plus, which is fun to watch. How about Wild and Crazy Kids?
I feel like
this is the forgotten one.
Yeah.
Yes,
but to me, that show was like as if you were at school and like they had like
field day. Yep.
And that was the type of stuff they would do on there. And they
or
would get
like a summer camp.
Summer camp feel to it.
Yeah.
And they would have guest stars come on, like, big names from like TV shows in the early. I remember like Full House. They had Kimmy Gibbler on in one episode and a couple others, but that was an early one.
Yep.
But that one was fun. What am I missing?
Figure It Out.
Figure It Out was on the later side.
It was towards the later,
But that one was big, especially, you'd get the All That cast on it. You'd get Amanda Bynes, Keenan and Kel.
That was one that I always watched because I always wanted
Lori Beth.
Like,
Lori Beth.
I think my sister and I watched it, and we would actually like cover our eyes and ears when the person was describing what they could do.
Oh, nice.
So that way, like, we could play a little bit too. I don't really remember too much, but like that was a fun one. Like just the hints that they would come up with, and then
then they would show like their hidden talent too, as they would, they would. So
and
that was kind of cool.
It brought back the symbol of Nickelodeon, the slime.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what was the host name? Summer.
Oh, we looked it up last time.
Summer Sanders.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
she was like an Olympic medalist swimmer.
Yeah.
I wanted to figure her out as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Her only for the first few seasons, because then wasn't it a
guy? They
did a
rebooted
reboot.
They rebooted
oh,
it
is that what
later.
it was? Okay.
And it just wasn't the exact same. It just wasn't as good. No. But
they rebooted Guts.
Yeah.
For a whopping 2 episodes.
Yeah. Who was the referee?
Michael
Moira. Her name was Moira, but Michael Malley would call her Mo.
Mo.
Let's go to Mo.
Yeah.
And she was British, so another one where it's like you hear this accent you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She gave me a few penalties.
Really?
Oh yeah. Something I don't know. The 90s were a weird time between that and the Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, Topanga.
Topanga.
Oh my God.
Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah.
Kelly Kapowski. Oh yeah.
All right.
Get the picture.
I think this is probably I want to say this might be the face of Nickelodeon game shows, Double Dare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
it's
polled like a group, I don't know. I could be wrong on this, but I think Double Dare to me is the grandfather of the game show.
I think the only reason though is because not only did you have Double Dare, but then you had Double Dare 2000.
Double Dare 2000. You had Family Double Dare.
Yeah. So I think just because of how long it went on, it is, but
and how many different interpretations there were.
But I mean, like for us, like the 80, kids that were born in the 80s kind of grew up in, the mid 90s to late 90s. Mm-hmm. You're thinking of Guts and Legends. You ask anybody born in like the mid 90s, then I think they're thinking Double Dare.
Really?
I think so.
Really? I would disagree because I remember
Double Dare 2000, I remember, was decently popular.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you were born in the late 90s, the game shows really weren't that big of a factor for you.
Well, also, Double Dare was way before they had any sort of union or safety contracts because
there was
people
a
got
lot
hurt
of
during
stuff.
those.
Did you ever? Oh, you saw. So there was a on that
the
documentary.
Nickelodeon one,
The host Mark Summers said, "Yeah, this kid fell off, and I thought the kid broke his neck." And the father was like, "I'm not going to sue you unless you give me that TV." And he's like, "Take the TV, and go for it."
Seriously though, like some of those game shows were like super dangerous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who knows what the safety standards were back then? I don't.
Probably not that high. I mean, the '90s was a weird time. Like even like I know we just brought up the Pink Power Ranger, but in Power Rangers, those kids got paid nothing, and they were they were like workhorses all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the '90s was a very strange time where they were trying to make the most effective product with the least amount of money spent, and obviously to a point still these days. But now there are safety standards that you have to meet in order, and that's why even a lot of game shows, they're less physical than they used to be. I mean, like you watch a lot of game shows nowadays, it's a lot more of the like let's make a deal type stuff. It's more of the
Wipeout.
Well, there is a huge revitalization though in that physical kind of like obstacle course. Like me, I love Holy Moly. I love it so much.
I mean, do you consider American Ninja Warrior a game show?
I don't think so. Maybe to a point. Because you are competing with other people.
It's a competition show. But it's also you got to win.
If it's gonna be anything, I would classify it as a game show.
But I think Wipeout makes more sense that's a game show.
Oh my god, that's another show.
And
I know.
Moly.
I know we're talking about the '90s, but holy crap, some of these injuries you see, like you would think, how are they alive?
But it's all padded, isn't it? Like
but still.
I mean, I remember Holy Moly. We'd be like,
we still are.
Yeah.
That's half the fun, watching somebody just wipe out, take a drink. Oh man.
Wipe out.
Yeah,
I think that sums up the Nickelodeon,
the big ones,
the big ones on Nickelodeon. So now I don't know about you guys. So like as I recall, we were in the early '90s is when Game Show Network started airing.
GSN.
And I mean, I don't watch it anymore, but when that network first came on, I mean, it was fool's gold. Every game show that was created was on that network. I mean. Obviously The Price is Right, but it was like the old version, like 70s Price is Right. I mean, old Jeopardy, old Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud. That's another one. Family Feud has Steve Harvey. He's
And what was it $1 Million Pyramid?
Oh yeah, the $100 million.
Right?
Pyramid.
Yeah.
That's another one. Password.
Yep.
Card Sharks. I mean, all those. I mean, I know you said Price is Right was probably your go-to. Did you have another one?
Supermarket Sweep.
That's right.
I would kill to be on that nowadays.
Yeah. I think to me, when I'm thinking game shows, other than Price is Right, I think of from 7 to 8. You knew what you were doing from 7 to 8 o'clock.
Sleeping?
No, you were watching Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune.
It's crazy how that is just such an institution,
right? Like I mean,
that was when we were. I mean, like early '90s. I mean, that's what I don't know about them back to back, but I mean, as long as I can remember, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune back to back on ABC 7 to 8 o'clock.
So quick story. So Ronnie and I, when we worked together,
fun fact for your fanny pack.
Fanny pack. When Ronnie and I worked together, we would go out to dinner usually afterwards because we were done around obviously around 7 o'clock. And there was a local hibachi place that we would just quickly run to, and we would sit at a table. We wouldn't do the whole hibachi show, but they always had Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy on. So we would have dinner, get a little loaded, and we would just start yelling out answers. Not like obnoxiously, but like to each other. And we were always right because you could never hear it.
Yeah.
Here in a restaurant. Usually they'd have the captions on. So like we had a lot of fun just kind of the worst. It's another one of those shows, Wheel of Fortune especially, where we're like, why didn't you pick the answer's this?
Yeah,
what are you doing? Stop spinning. You won.
You know what I think of? South Park.
Oh.
Everybody knows immediately where you went with that.
Oh, it took me a second.
Naggers.
Oh, God.
Melanie and I still do that. Naggers. Oh, man. We're not going to go into detail about that, but if
just look up South Park Wheel of Fortune.
No, I'm not going to say that.
I know what it is, but I can't say it.
It was bad. It was bad. They've done it. There have been some questionable Wheel of Fortunes, and that's like and the Batman symbol.
Yeah.
But like,
dude, well, that's a funny thing. I remember actually watching on Game Show Network an episode of Wheel of Fortune back before RSTL and E were given to you.
Yep.
Like,
you had to think of the entire puzzle.
You had to think of the entire puzzle because that was the reason why they were like, everybody's using those letters.
Yep.
Let's just give it to them. Which I still don't understand why you would do that.
No.
It makes it easier, I think.
It does, but also at the same time, sometimes they're like, all right, you start with RSTLNE.
They get
nothing.
And nothing.
It's like,
well, which, I can understand, but...
Yeah.
I'm curious to how they think of like the words and phrases, like because you can't make it too easy. But is it just a random generator? Is it like script writer? Because all these shows do have scripts to a point. They have what's to be said. You know, the host has to be able to know what they say. You don't ever see the host fumbling up for the most part, unless it's really funny. And then they'll.
And you know what's crazy too is how quick back in the day they had to change the board.
Oh yeah, Vanna
because
White.
she had to spin the letters back in the day.
Oh god, she must have loved when they came out with the whole touch screen.
Oh yeah, because now it's just a screen that you can just digitize and just change. But back then, like, I'm curious as to how that worked. Did they like have to take down all the tiles, put new ones up, or did they have like a second board ready and they just slid a board in and out?
Question.
Yeah,
that's a very good question. I could see it going either way.
Yeah,
I think the only problem with that is we've seen the whole stage. Like when they do their
it probably will. It's probably
like behind
a movable set piece that they're able to bring in another one and stuff like that. But I never thought of that.
Right?
It's an interesting concept because like you also have to wonder how. So Vanna obviously knows the puzzle.
Yeah.
So how does she get told like here are 6 puzzles that we have to do tonight, or does she have some sort of screen behind the contestants that she's
got it all written on her hand?
No, she doesn't.
Well, what do you mean? Like how she knows which letters to touch?
Yeah,
you'll actually see her when they say the letter. If she knows it's not there, she doesn't even move.
Yeah.
Oh.
So and then it makes you wonder like because the contestants don't. Like they usually don't repeat the same number. It's like that's already been said. That's not like. Is there a screen somewhere else that only the contestants can see? That
no, because they still do it.
It's very rare.
They kind of. It's weird. So if you watch, they all look towards the audience. It looks like
there's probably a director or a guy behind the camera, like saying, like, okay, these letters. Or he probably gets a thumbs up to Vanna and be like, yes, you got to flip something or this.
Yeah.
No.
Well, because in Jeopardy they have a judges table that you don't ever see.
Oh.
And they make mention of it because like sometimes they'll be like the judges ruled that what you said was right or what you said wasn't right.
It was funny actually. I just saw a clip. There was somebody from one of like the bands on one of the late night shows. I think it was Jimmy Fallon's was on an episode of Jeopardy like recently, and he gave the answer in like French because it had the question had something to do with Paris or something like that. And he gave the answer in French, and at first they were like, no, but then at like commercial break, they were like, oh, he's right. He said what is whatever, but in French, or whatever. And he explained about that, about how like the judges said it, and he was just doing it just to do it, basically. To do it. Yeah.
Oh man, what a 2 shows that I don't think when they first came out. Because, I mean, think of the game shows that we've had. I mean, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, you had, Password. You had What's My Line. You had To Tell the Truth. Those were like the gold standards. Then you got Newlywed, the dating game. God, you remember the Gong Show? Does anybody remember? Do we remember watch? That was the dumbest show you could ever watch. But, I mean, just some of the acts that they got on that show was crazy.
Yeah. Now, I have another game show that wasn't mentioned yet, which I'm kind of surprised wasn't.
Uh-oh.
Whose line is it anyway?
It's not a game show.
It is. They win points.
I would argue.
They win points.
Stop.
I would argue.
Points don't matter, but they win points.
I award 1 million points to Ryan. Hey.
I get what you're saying. I do. No. I don't agree that it's. I always think a game show is when it's people outside of the show competing.
Yeah.
Did you ever?
They do. They always have a special guest.
Shut up. Shut up. That's getting canceled.
Whose line?
Is it?
Yeah, they're ending it after the next season. 14 years.
14 years of the new version?
Or 14
years
seasons,
combined?
I think. 14 seasons total.
Combined between the Drew Carey and the new version?
That's
it?
Yeah, you would think more.
Like it would be a lot longer.
Maybe it's more.
Wow.
I don't know. Wow. It's not a game show, so I didn't do any research on it.
Maybe just 14.
You did so much research on what we've been talking about anyway.
I came mildly prepared. Look at my whole list.
Oh, there you go.
Did you make that list yourself?
Yes, I did.
Real quick, if you were on Supermarket Suite, what is the first thing you go to?
The candy aisle.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine would be one of the carts.
I hate you so much. Probably the front doors. Yep. All right. That's where we're at. Okay. This used to be our highest rated show. I hope you guys know that. This used to be our most popular show, MF Uncensored.
And not anymore.
Now I got to do interviews again. Damn it.
Ronnie, so why are you like this? Why do you piss Paul off so easily?
No, in all honesty, for supermarkets, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, do you start the furthest and work your way in?
Well, I feel like you go for the expensive but see, you have to cross the finish line to keep everything, right?
Yeah.
Or you keep what's in your cart no matter what.
No, you have to cross the finish line with whatever's in your cart.
I would feel like I would go to like the meats and stuff.
Honestly,
get like enough steaks and freeze them.
This is what I would do. Just run down the aisle, one hand on the cart, one hand in the the shelves, and just dump it all and just run through every aisle.
Yeah, but you only get the one cart.
I know. So
okay,
but right. You know what? Then I'll go through the frozen aisle and do that.
So
Paul will go to the frozen aisle and get all the broccoli.
All the broccoli. No, I already know if it was Acme, the one by us. I know exactly what I would go to the pasta and the pasta aisle. I think it also has like the rice and like all that stuff, all the stuff that I eat all the time.
There you go.
And I would end with meat because that's how you should always end, with meat.
You would know.
I said what I said. Said what I said.
Do we have any other game shows that we want to mention that we like to watch?
Gladiators,
American
Gladiators.
Yeah,
that was a
great
phenomenon.
Great call. Filmed at Universal Studios in Hollywood. I remember every episode. This is filmed at Universal Studios.
I'm trying to remember. You had Nitro.
Oh, Nitro was the shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't there Hawk?
Yep. There was a Hawk. Who else?
Technically, this was a 1989 show. Just throwing that
fine,
out.
but it went through the 90s. So
it did. All right, so
we're
ready?
Talking about
Here's our list of gladiators. Okay, this is every single one of them. Malibu.
Oh, yep.
Lace.
Yep.
Zap.
Don't remember.
Gemini.
Yep.
Nitro.
Nitro's the big
Sunny. One. I remember Sunny.
Yep.
Blaze. Bronco. Gold. Laser. Jade. Titan. Diamond. Ice. Thunder. Turbo. Storm. Tower. Viper. I remember Viper.
Yep.
Atlas. Cyclone. Electra. Lace. Havoc. Saber. I remember Saber also.
Yep.
Siren. Sky. Dallas. Hawk. Jazz. Rebel. And Tank.
And great opening theme song. With that music and introducing all the gladiators.
Didn't they try to redo it recently?
Yeah, with
2008.
Mike Greenberg was hosting.
Yeah.
I think it was just not the same.
No,
it's not the same.
Some of these people haven't been on.
That show is perfect for the time because it was just such a late 80s, early 90s show.
Oh, yeah. 10 trillion%.
I don't think it would work now. I just don't think it would be. It's like Baywatch.
Yeah.
It's just like a guilty pleasure to watch that.
So they had 4 different lineups for this.
Yeah.
And each one was slightly different, right? So lineup 1 was the Pyramid, Hang Tough / Assault, Joust / Whiplash, Gauntlet, Tug of War, Snapback, and Powerball.
I can't even remember.
Was Powerball? I think Powerball was the one.
I know they had one where they shot.
Yeah, I think that was Powerball. They shot like the tennis balls at you as you ran through like an obstacle course.
The obstacle course at the end because they spoof it in Hot Shots 2 at the end with the 2 girls.
Oh, it's so good though. It's so good. There was a video game. I played a video game.
Really?
Yeah, I played the video game.
Okay, that was a fun. That was a good one.
The Eliminator. That was the final event.
The Eliminator.
That's what it was called. The obstacle course at the end.
All right.
Would
you? And I'm asking both of you. Would you guys go on the Newlywed game
with our significant others? Nope.
You afraid that you just wouldn't answer their questions right, or you just don't want to, give personal information away?
Both.
I'm just asking.
No,
I think I would. I would, but I know Jacqueline wouldn't.
So dumb though.
Jacqueline wouldn't, but I would.
What is your significant other's favorite color of one toe to paint? Like,
I want to find out how many of those couples divorced after that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's like The Bachelor, like they get married at the end or whatever, and then they're like, and they broke up a month later.
All right.
But
that was good.
I do have one more.
Yep.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, yes. That was a phenomenon.
I mean, Slumdog Millionaire was because of that show.
That and Weakest Link.
Weakest Link was good too.
The Weakest Link.
This was also like the time of.
It comes in spurts. The game show. It's very similar to the westerns in the movie genre.
Yeah.
It was so big early in television, and then it kind of vanished, and then it came back in the 70s and 80s, and then it vanished again, and then late 90s. So it comes in spurts. Every now and then you get that one show like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that just captures the audience and everybody's imagination. I mean, $1 million now. You're like. It's still good.
Oh, yeah.
But comparatively to where we are as a society, like it's not enough. It's.
Well, you remember the big cheating scandal of that?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, guy had a buddy in the audience who was he would cough when with the answer. Like it'd be like, is it A? If he coughed like one time, the answer was A. If he coughed like two, and it took them forever to figure it out.
Yeah,
and then they finally, because I think the guy won, and they made him give back all that money.
Wow, I did not know that.
But there is another one. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I watched that show.
See, I didn't watch that a lot.
Oh, my best theme song ever.
I played the game.
I played the games too, but like I loved, and then they did Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego.
See, now that's the game. That was the game show. Where in Time?
No, they both were.
Where in the World?
They did 2 game shows. Where in the World and Where in Time.
I thought wasn't there a cartoon show too?
Oh yeah, there was a cartoon show. There was
the cartoon part of the game show.
No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with it. In fact, like Carmen Sandiego was such a weird franchise where like the cartoon had like the 2 kids that were like chasing after her, and then they had like the games, which you tried to catch all of her henchmen, and then finally made it to her. I never caught Carmen Sandiego.
Never caught Carmen Sandiego, but you'd always catch the 2 henchmen, and the cat was like the next symbol. Yeah, if you. And
then they had the TV shows where they did Where in the World and Where in Time, and the lady who played the chief was she was in a bunch of these things. Like she did the game and all that stuff. So that was.
I forgot about that.
Still one of the best theme songs of all time.
Where in the world is...
At the group Rockapella, they still play it at their concerts.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're going to...
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be famous for something, you might as well be famous.
All right. Alrighty. I think that was a good little discussion, and because, it's... There are game shows still out there. I think, again, if Nickelodeon, which I doubt, because Nickelodeon's standards to me are no longer what they used to be, but... If they started to come out with game shows directed towards kids, do you think they would even succeed nowadays? I don't even know.
I don't think so, because I think a lot of kids are lazy nowadays.
That's fair.
Who can play on their iPad fastest?
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, it's just, again, you grew up in we grew up in such a great time.
Yeah.
I really did. I mean, 80s or 90s, I think either or would have been fine. I would have been fine with the shows that were on in the 80s for kids, but in the 90s, Nickelodeon doesn't get enough credit. Early Nickelodeon for really coming up with ideas that talked to kids well and wasn't talking down to kids. It put kids in good situations, all that stuff with these game shows, and it really taught us well. I thought.
Yep. I agree.
I always wanted to win the contest to bring Nickelodeon to your
school,
and they would turn the gym into Guts.
Yeah, be so.
And
cool.
I would always look around the school at our gym and I'd be like, yeah, no, I wouldn't fit in here.
Yeah, right.
No,
the ceiling was too low for the Aggro Crag.
Yeah, the Aggro Crag would take up the entire gym.
Yeah, they'd have to lay it on its side.
They would come in and be like, sorry, man, we can't fit it in here. I guess we're just gonna have to take it to someone else's school. Mother effer.
Yeah, right.
Dang it, not again.
Come on, guys, Mayapack, you suck.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just looking up Carmen Sandiego, the character, and a lot of childhood feelings are coming back. God, she was another.
Dude, what is that poking?
Don't worry about it.
Right?
Yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, I think I had a crush on Carmen Sandiego. What is wrong with me?
This is why he put the hole in the table.
Yeah, right?
No, it came like that, actually. My God.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she always had half her face covered. It was very Jessica Rabbit type. Yeah, like thief Jessica Rabbit. Anyway, please end the show. All right.
Please keep the show going.
I don't even know where to go from there.
I wasn't. This is what happens when I don't host. I need to get attention somehow. Oh man, my therapist and I need to talk.
Melanie.
Oh man, no, she's
all right,
not here.
guys. Well, this was a fun little episode, and hopefully we can do this again next week. All 3 of us on the same MF Uncensored. I think we
probably not, but
probably.
I like the enthusiasm.
I'm trying to keep it positive, man. Trying to keep it positive.
From Sean. That's
God,
strange.
seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm one of your hosts. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
I'm Ronnie.
And I hope everybody out there has a great night, day, afternoon, morning,
whenever you're listening to us.
listening.
Go to themisfitfaction.com for more.
See ya.